Okay, we've made it to the best part. We've made it to painting. I've got everything prepped here. Everything's primed. Everything's masked off. What I did was I checked my profile sheets here, and I wanted to make sure I knew where the gray and the olive drab meet on this, and I kind of penciled it in on the sides of the airplane so that I know where to stop painting and where to start with both colors. I finished putting all my masks on, all these Edward masks. These are great products. I'm probably going to do a little separate video showing you the ball turret when I did it. And we'll add that into this series. But I went ahead and I used all those masks on all the window surfaces. They all are pre-cut to fit them. Just make sure you put them in proper. Lay them down. So I did that. I plugged any holes in the fuselage, tail wheel area. I masked off these pins where the tail fins fit on so they'll fit good. And that's it. The airplane's prepped, ready to go. So let's get down to mixing up some of the mission models, olive drab 41 and neutral gray, and start shooting the B17. So I'm ready to start painting. Now we're going to use mission model paints. It's a great new line of paints that have really good color matches. It's a water-based acrylic, really good stuff. There's two things you need to know about mission models paints. The first is when you paint the primer, that's on the bottom here, the primer you mix just with their thinner, and you mix it to their recommended proportions, which are 30 to 40% thinner plus the primer, okay? On the colors, when we paint the olive drab and the neutral gray and so forth, the colors mix 20 to 30% thinner and then 20 to 30% polyurethane hardener. This is really great stuff. This makes the paint dry really fast, really smooth, and a very tough surface. So no polyurethane additive in the primer. It's just thinner and primer. Then when you paint, you add 20 to 30% thinner, 20 to 30% of the polyurethane primer into the color. Mix it up and spray it. So that's mission models. Very important to follow their instructions. When you do, the stuff goes on great. So the colors we're going to use, there's two base colors. There's medium gray, which is MMP 118. That's going to be for neutral gray, the underside of the aircraft. And then I'm going to add white and anthracite gray. The white is MMP 001, anthracite gray MMP 140. I'm going to add those two colors into this separately and make three variations of the gray, because we're going to color modulate. We're going to paint this thing and add shadows and highlights to give it a more three-dimensional effect. So the medium gray, right out of the jar, right out of the bottle, is in the middle here, and then I'm going to add 50% of the white and get a light shade, and 50% of the anthracite dark gray and get a dark shade. I'll paint the base, I'll paint the shadows in with the dark shade, and then go back and highlight around and clean it up. So the other color is olive drab, and for the olive drab, instead of mixing colors together, I'm going to use, they have three different shades of olive drab faded. And I'm going to use two of those. I'm going to use olive drab faded number 1, and that is MMP 020, and that's going to be for my base color. Then I'm going to use faded olive drab faded number 3, MMP 022, for the highlight, and I'm going to go back and use the olive drab 41, which is the base color for olive drab, U.S. Air Force, Army Air Force. I'm going to use that as the dark shade, okay? Because you know the base color's always going to fade. So we're going to do olive drab 1 faded, olive drab 3 faded, and olive drab 41 for the dark shades. And that's color modulation. We're going to shade the airplane, and you'll see how I do that. I'm going to start out with the tail surfaces. I'll do the undersides gray, and I'll modulate the color, and then I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so we're going to shoot our first color, and that's going to be the neutral gray underside of the B-17. We're going to use Mission Models paint for that, MMP 118 medium gray. We're going to mix that up with, remember, 30% of the thinner plus 30% of the polyurethane additive. So what I do is I use these little mixing cups that I get really inexpensively. They're measured on the side, and we'll put in 100% of the paint and then 30% of the thinner and polyurethane. I'll pop it onto my mixer over here. Already mixed mine up. Bring that over, mark my lid so I know what's in it. We're going to use the Tamiya Sprayworks air compressor and the Sparmax air gun. Get ready. I'm going to mix up some gray here, put on our safety equipment, our respirator, a couple rubber gloves. We're all ready to go. So let's get painting.